Part 3.
And so, whereas I will say, come on, let's get on with it, let's get the job done, what the heck, yay, she'll say, just a minute, let's check everything. Nature demands balance and temperament. Okay, number 4, the person who asks questions has control. The person who asks questions has control. Remember, this is one of the keys to power in communications, is that you ask good questions and listen carefully to the answers. A, you ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions are questions that start with pronouns. What, where, when, who, how, and why. What are you doing now? How is that working? When did you start that? Where did it begin? How did it occur? Who is involved? These are questions that open up. They cannot be answered with yes or no. An open-ended question, how's it going, cannot be answered yes or no. B is a closed-end question. Now, a closed-end question is a question that you use to bring a conversation to a close. And these are questions that start with verbs. And a verb is are, is, have. Are you ready to make a decision? Is this what you want? Have you made up your mind yet? So when you start a question with a verb, you demand a yes or no, a conclusion. And C is preference questions. Now, preference questions are questions where you give the person a choice. And remember, people love choices. People love choices. So you say, which would you prefer, this or that? Which do you like, that or the other thing? Which of these would be better for you? Always giving people choices makes it much easier for people to make decisions. People don't like to have only one choice. So even if you only have one choice, you say, then when would you like it, here or next week? Would you like it sent to your home address or to your office address? Would you like to pay by cash, credit card, or our term payments? In other words, trying to give people choices makes it much easier for them to buy or to go along with it. Number 5 key to communications is a balanced dialogue. A balanced dialogue means no monopolizing. The very best conversations are conversations that have an ebb and flow like the tide. Go back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. There's an easy, relaxed flow back and forth. And if the people are together for 10 minutes or 10 hours, the conversation goes back and forth. There's a thing called the conversation test. And it is a test of the compatibility of two people. We know that in the ideal conversation, each person will get a chance to talk, and each person will get a chance to listen, and there will be about a 10% to 15% period of easy silences. Easy silences, just comfortable. People are comfortable with silence. And so, in the ideal conversation, each one will get a chance to talk, each one will get a chance to listen. And by the way, each of us have needs, like vitamin and mineral needs, to talk, and each of us have needs to listen. What can often happen, however, is some people will have 70% of the time they need to talk, and the other person 70% of the time they need to talk, and so they're always clashing because they're both trying to get their talking out. The worst of all is when incompatibility sets in a relationship, and both of them only need to talk 10 or 15% of the time, and then there's vast gaps of uncomfortable silence. This is where the two people really don't have very much in common anymore. They don't have much to say. When they come together, they usually have an easy ebb and flow, but over time kind of dries up. Have you ever seen a couple driving along in a car? Both of them look straight ahead. Nobody says anything. Or they sit in a restaurant and they eat. And sometimes they read. And they don't say anything. Not a good sign. Number 6 is acknowledge and agree. In good conversation, they acknowledge and agree twice as often. Good conversationalists are active conversationalists. Yes, in relationships. Active listening means the person is really there. Put down the magazine or newspaper. Turn off the television set. Lean in. Be there the whole time. Number 7, good listening skills. And sometimes people are shy, and I can tell you this, the way that you overcome your shyness is very simply this. Tune into the other person, ask questions, and then listen carefully to the answers. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Get out of yourself and don't be preoccupied with what the other person is thinking about you. Instead, focus on encouraging the other person to talk about them. The more the person is talking about themselves, the more they like you. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. When you go home at night, don't talk about your day at all. Instead, ask her and ask the kids about their days and listen closely. And ask them follow-up questions and probe. In fact, I'll give you a secret for success in life. Treat the members of your family like you treat your customers. Especially your best customers. And you'll be absolutely amazed at what a wonderful person you just became. Number 8, listening skills. Listening builds trust, the foundation of all relationships. The more you listen, the more the person trusts you. The more they trust you, the more they like you. The more they like you, the more they open up to you. So, treat your members of your family, treat everybody you meet as though they were your best customers. Number 9, here are the listening skills, the keys to success with people. A, listen attentively. And by the way, as I mentioned, women are wonderful communicators. They're fabulous listeners. They're far better than men. Men are 95% more likely to interrupt a woman than a woman is to interrupt a man. B is pause before replying.